All right, so we're gonna go over the armory rotations be going in the game into patch 15.6 will be in July. So let's take a look and talk about the ships that are worth getting before the armory rotation happens and ones that are worth getting after. So you can see the armory rotation yourselves by going into port, as you can see here, and going on the ship rotations. The armory rotation will be happening on July 15th, is when the old ships will be leaving, as you can see here, and the new ones, or the ones that were in the past, will be going in. So let's go over this list real quick. Now, all these ships that they're rotating around are all doubloon ships. None of these ships are coal ships, so all these ships are for doubloons. So we're gonna go over them in quick succession, talking about each one and why it's worth it or not. So first one's gonna be Agincourt. Agincourt, I definitely recommend it. A fun tier 5 brawler. It's one of the only tier 5 secondary ships in the game. Unfortunately, you don't have anti-air though, so yeah, it's fun for brawls. It'd be fun for randoms. If you get up tiered, it's gonna be a real pain. But what are your thoughts on an SAT?
If you want low tier fun and have a 21 point captain dedicated you can put secondaries into, take Agincourt. She is one of the few fun tier 5s that pretty much everyone agrees on.
Yep, the Ashitaka I would definitely recommend. It's very slept on. It has really good. It has very accurate guns. It's one of the most. I think it is the most accurate tier 7 battleship, and it's very good for mid to long range. It's a good trainer as well for like being able to predict where to aim at people's ships, like sniping. But overall, it's an amazing ship, so I definitely recommend it. What are your thoughts?
Keep in mind she has almost no AA because she's essentially a tier 7 Amaki A hull.
Hmm.
So the guns are pretty solid. The hull is okay, but just go cry in a corner whenever tier 8 carriers show up. Otherwise, she's a solid battleship
Hmm.
still.
Yeah, so Borodino, this is a bow-in sitting tier 8 battleship. It does have a thin bow, so it can make it somewhat painful to play at times, but in ranked, where it has that 12-kilometer radar, it makes it really strong. It also sees competitive use as well with that long radar, which makes it really nice as well. So I definitely recommend it, but what are your thoughts?
Essentially a tier 8 stalling rod, but with much less accurate guns, and a notably weaker hull. If you like team play thanks to her 12-kilometer radar, then yes, she's a pretty strong ship. But if you like consistent guns, which she definitely does not have, and to do other battleship things, you probably want to take something different.
Hmm. So Chkalov, if you like playing aircraft carriers, then you'll like the Chkalov. Amazing aircraft. All the squadrons are really good. Overall, just an amazing CV. Good squadrons overall. So if you like playing CVs, then I definitely recommend the Chkalov. It's really good.
I'd still recommend Kaga as the first pick since Kaga is much easier to play. But Chakalov, if you like the Russian style carry gameplay, then yeah, she's a solid option.
So Collingwood, no. Collingwood's just no. I know they try to add some special stuff to it. It's literally a Nelson, but more AP focused. But I just don't like the ship. It's just too like weak in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, generally don't recommend Collingwood. Nelson, she uses the Nelson hull, which is not really great. Just if you get a chance, just get the sister ship Rodney instead. More historical and has a fun short, close range gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. Congress, I would definitely recommend. So, what some people are doing as well with the Congress is that right now you can get it for free during the US event that's going on. What people are doing is that they're spending their doubloons to get the Congress with the discount. So, they spend like 8,700 doubloons or something with it. And then when they get the Congress for free, they get 11,000 back. So, they get like an extra three, like 2,500, 2,600 or something around there amount of doubloons. So, if you want to do that, you can. It's a little way if you have doubloons sitting around, you can spend them to kind of make it's like an investment where you get the Congress using the coupon, and then you're able to get like an extra doubloons out of it. But yeah, I definitely recommend the Congress overall, even if you're not trying to do that. You can just get it for free currently. You don't have to spend any money on it during this event. But overall, it's a good ship.
Yeah. You can get her 3 for the event. So if you're not using the coupon to make a little doubloon return, then just get it for free.
Hmm.
That being said, Congress is a decent mini Alaska. She has a durability similar to an Alaska, but she has notably less firepower. So kind of keep that in mind when you're playing her.
Hmm. Yeah, so for the Dalian, I would recommend it. It's a tier 9, like a mini Smolensk. It's got deep water torpedoes, a good smoke, good DPM. Overall, it's a really fun ship to play. So I would definitely recommend the Dalian as well on this list. What do you think?
Dalian is a light cruiser, so she has pretty good Soviet guns, but she's a bit on the squishy end, even though she does have Pan-Asian smokes. Not something I recommend unless you want a tier 9 damage farmer, but I personally think there's just better options, and you may as well just go to tier 10 as well.
So the DeGrasse. I definitely recommend the DeGrasse. Ever since they added heals to the tier 6 through 8 cruisers, all of them, I definitely recommend the DeGrasse. It was already good before, and it's good after. Has a nice engine boost, good guns overall. It's a really fun ship to play as well. Good HE, good AP. Overall, it's just a fun tier 6 French cruiser.
Yep, pretty similar to the tier 6 Lagali. So if you like the Lagali, then you'll probably like the Grasse.
hmm
But if you don't like the Lagali, then just go ahead and skip. And she's a mid-tier cruiser, so you're not gonna lose that much sleep over her.
Yeah, so the Eskimo, I'd also recommend the Eskimo. I think the Eskimo is pretty good. I think overall it's a really strong tier 8 destroyer. What how do you compare it to a Cossack? Would you say it's about even to a Cossack, or do you think it's like worse than a Cossack per se? Like, what do you think about it?
Pretty notable differences. Cossack is more of a destroyer killer that also farms well due to her guns. The Eskimo leans a lot more into damage farming because she gets 30 millimeter HE pen on her guns, if I remember correctly, and I
hmm
think better ballistics. I don't remember on top of my head. The problem with Eskimo though is that she's notably slow. Like she doesn't have the mobility of a Cossack.
hmm
So she's better suited for farming bigger ships. Cossack is more suited for killing destroyers, but also does not a good job of fighting larger ships. Just not as efficient as Eskimo.
Okay. Annapolis, it's one of the only other tier 8 cruisers to get a radar. The bow did get buffed as well recently whenever they buffed the American bows, which is really nice. It has really strong AP with the improved ricochet angles, so it's definitely really strong for the tier. So I definitely recommend if you're interested in a tier 7 American cruiser. What do you think?
Her main issue before was survivability, and that sorta got fixed when all the cruisers got a heal.
hmm
So now you can flex your, I think it's 10-kilometer radar,
No, 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 no,
and
no.
punish.
Is it 10
Is it
kilometer?
9 or 10?
No, 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 no. It should be like Atlanta's. I'll double check real quick.
No, it's definitely not Atlanta's radar.
I'm gonna double check real quick. The radar is. Oh wow, it is 10. Wow.
Yep.
Damn. Okay. Sheesh. That is
It's a
really
bit
good.
short. It's notably shorter at about 20 seconds, but that 10-kilometer radar is game changing when you use it at the right time. You can punish smoke cruisers, you can punish destroyers, you can even just use it for info so you don't stick your bow out and get blapped by a sit-up at point blank range.
hmm
So yeah, pretty good ship now. Just be careful of showing broadside because it is a US cruiser and you tend to explode if you show broadside.
hmm Yeah, Jurua. No. Nah. I'm not the biggest fan
Uh,
of that.
Jura is the Pan-Asian version of the Gallant, which is
hmm
the British destroyer.
Yep.
Both ships essentially are generic flavorless destroyers. I don't recommend it, even though there's technically nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, La Terrible. I definitely recommend it. It's really good. Good engine boost, good top speed. You don't get a smoke generator, unfortunately, but you have such a high speed that you're able to dodge really well. You also have a nice reload booster as well for the guns to help you get punish someone if they DCP too early. Then you can just get perma fires a lot faster, and you can use it to help you against other destroyers. So overall, I think it's a really good destroyer to get for tier 8.
More gunboat version of the Lafanta, the French Tier 8 tech tree equivalent. Most notably, she has much faster firing guns, like literally 20% more DPM, but in exchange, her speed boost is notably weaker, and she gets slightly worse torps. So very strong gunboat, just not as versatile as Lafanta overall. This
hmm
is generally not a problem in randoms though, since you're mostly building gunboat, but you will feel it if you try to play her in competitive. But I assume most of you are going to focus on randoms and ranked, in which case La Terrible is a solid option.
All right, moving on to the Molotov. Molotov, I'd recommend. Good tier 6 Soviet cruiser. Good AP shells. HE's okay as well. Good top speed. Does really well at long distance shooting. So overall, I definitely recommend it. And the fact that it has a heal now does make it even better. So I definitely recommend it for a tier 6 if you're looking for one of those.
Just be careful. She suffers from the typical mid-tier exploding cruiser syndrome. She even though she gets a heal, you can't heal back a dev strike because your citadels is very exposed.
Hmm. So,
Otherwise, very good gun platform.
so moving on to the Mysore. What do you think of the Mysore? I like. I'm more like just 50-50 on it. Like I think it's interesting, but I also like like it has AP only,
Uh,
so it's okay. But
and a crawling smoke. It's like interesting, but at the same time, like, I think I'd rather play a different cruiser
like
because
a
the AP
Perth.
only, yeah, AP only shells kind of suck at that tier because a lot of the battleships are still pretty well armored. So you're going to be bouncing quite a bit, and this crawling smoke generator can both be good and bad depending on the situation.
Hmm.
Not a bad ship, but definitely you're gonna feel it when your AP starts bouncing when the enemy is just angle or battleship just having battleship armor at times.
So moving on to the OKhotnik or the War Canoe. It's one of the memeiest tier fives in the game. It has short torpedo ranges and the guns on them. They're not the like they're actually like they have a longer reload, but they are also able to citadel cruisers if they're showing broadside at that tier. And the HE damage is okay as well for the tier. But if anything gets close to you, battleship or like essentially battleship wise, you're just gonna nuke them with all of your torpedoes. It's always like, let's just put as many torpedoes as many guns as possible on this thing, and that's how the Altnik was born because it's pretty funny to play.
hmm If you want low tier memes, OKhotnik is another solid candidate. Just if destroyer comes at you, just turn broadside, line up, and fire a volley. If you get close to a battleship, just smoke up. If they charge you, just unleash 12 torpedoes at them. Very funny ship.
Hmm. Moving on to the Frederick. What do you think of the Friedrich?
Eh, Unfortunately, she's literally. You can tell she was designed in 2018 or 2019, a while
Yeah.
back. Like, not a ship I'd really recommend anymore. Like, she could still do fine. There's just better and more interesting options out there.
Well, the ship we were recommending was the Perth. So you have the Mysore and then you have the Perth. I'd recommend the Perth. The Perth is still really good for tier 6 and it does really well when you're up tiered. Having that same crawling smelt as the Mysore, but having HE and AP, it makes them more flexible than the Mysore is. So I definitely recommend the Perth.
I believe she also gets spotter as well. So pretty versatile ship. And if something gets close to you, you can pop spotter and
Hmm.
hopefully have it spot for you while you hide in smoke. So yeah, solid Commonwealth cruiser.
What do you think of the Provorny? I don't really remember that ship too much.
Uh, so it's like Eskimo. She also gets a 30 millimeter HE
Hmm.
pen gimmick, but she's a more of an open water gunboat, kind of a cross between a Kiev and a not a Grozavoy, Ognavoy.
Ah, okay.
She gets shorter range torpedoes. She's more like a sort of open water gunboat. She doesn't get arm. She gets like heals and speed boost to try and dodge, but she's also gets like powerful HE. Just
Hmm.
doesn't get good concealment. So a slightly stealthier Kiev, I guess, is the best way to put it. But her main advantage, as I said, 30 millimeter HE pen. She just doesn't. She's kind of unwieldy at times, so you need to be careful where you pick your battle. More of a high skilled gunboating cruise destroyer, very effective against cruisers. But if you don't know what you're doing, just pick a different. Just take Kiev.
Okay, so what about Rochester? I know that Rochester is essentially supposed to be like a smoke farming Baltimore. Like I'm not the
hmm
biggest fan of the Rochester because of that smoke gimmick. I'd rather like play like there's so many tier 8 American cruisers that you can get. So I'm not the biggest fan of the Rochester. Like if you want to play a smoke farming Baltimore, then sure. But if you're not interested in that smoke gimmick, then I wouldn't recommend it.
She seems to be more of a operations kind of cruiser. She can still do fine in randoms where you can use smoke to farm enemy ships, and there are times you really want smoke over radar. But as you said, Rochester isn't just there's not that much distinguishing here from other smoke cruisers.
Hmm.
Like Kutuzov, if you get lucky with her, is way better than Rochester. But if you're playing for operations or you just like collecting Baltimore class cruisers, then Rochester is fine.
Yeah, so for the Roma I would recommend as a like it's more of an AP throwing battleship. It does really well when it's up tiered because at the same tier you're more likely to overpin things as just how strong the pen is. So Roma I definitely recommend, but what are your thoughts on the Roma?
Roma guns are pretty gimmicky. They can do a lot of damage when their shells hit, but at the same time, the shells can just overpen or fly off into Narnia. That's the problem with Roma guns. But if you like playing a nice handling battleship and don't mind gambling a little bit harder on guns, then Roma is a pretty good option.
What do you think of the Siliwangi? I think the Siliwangi is good with its smoke. It has hydro, which is really nice as well, and it also has deep water torpedoes. But what do you think of the Siliwangi overall then?
A bit more of a supporting kind of destroyer, kind of like Lo Yang. So if you like the Lo Yang playstyle, then Siliwangi would be right up your alley. Otherwise, I just avoid it if you want more gunboat heavy destroyers.
Strasbourg? Hell no. It's legit a Dunkirk at tier 7. Hell no. The thing is so bad. No. No. That's it. No. I hate it. Terrible. Dog water. Shouldn't exist.
Yeah, like Dunkirk is fine, but then you go to Strasbourg and you just wonder where did everything go wrong. And honestly, I could not tell you because Strasbourg looks like a ship that should at least be fine on paper, but somehow doesn't. So yeah, just skip. Save yourself misery and just get a jump bar later.
The Yahagi. It's
Yahagi.
okay. Yeah, the Yahagi. It's okay for a tier 5. It does its job. It's not bad, not great. It's in that middle ground. It does what a tier 5 cruiser's supposed to. If you want it, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just recommend getting another tier 5 ship. Agincourt or OKhotnik are just much better options.
That's true. So all these ships are leaving in July 15th. Now, all these ships are leaving, so that's a recommendation for them. Now, we're going to quickly go through the recommendations for that are coming in July 15th. So all the ships that are rotating in. So we have the Aquila. The Aquila is more of like a high skill level CV. It was originally meant to be more like people were using it as a CV sniper, but they kind of nerfed that. So I don't think it's as good as it used to be. So I don't really recommend it. But what are your thoughts?
She's basically AP rockets and sort of decent torpedo bombers. AP rockets are really the main reason you play the Aquila. She can do some very memey stuff on broadside ships, but Colossus just kind of does the same thing as well. So honestly, I would not recommend her unless you're a diehard CV fan.
Yeah. California. The California guns are pretty nice, like accuracy wise, but it's just so slow. It's just so like painful to play nowadays.
It was already painful a while back, and it's still pretty painful now. Not a ship I'd recommend.
Canaries, higher skill level, AP only. If you want a more difficult ship to play, then sure. If you want an easier one, no.
Yeah, same here. Although there's also that historical aspect if you're Spanish.
Yep. Aguirre, hell no. The ship sucks so bad. It's like its whole gimmick is a special F key where you have to tank damage. Like if you're in the same tier, it's barely okay. But if you get up to 2 9 2 10, it's absolute torture. I hate it. I hate its whole thing because its whole thing is about getting shot at to get its F key going. But the thing just sucks. Anyway.
Funny enough, in clan battles, she's actually much better. You can position her in such a way she's going to get shot at, and then her F key becomes amazing. But as you said, if you play in random to get up to tier 10, you're gonna suffer because that F key now suddenly doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can see it's being useful in clan battles, but yeah, in randoms for the regular player, garbage, just absolute garbage.
If you're a pretty skilled player, you could definitely find ways to get that F key charge up faster, but that's a lot more work than you really need to put in, and the payoff just does not justify it, at least not for that ship.
No.
Just play something else.
What about the Abruzzi? The Abruzzi gets a Hydra, which can be nice, and you have a smoke.
Yeah.
Does it get, wait, does it get a smoke? No, it doesn't get a smoke. No, it gets a hydro and a DFA.
It's more of a standard cruiser that just happens to be in the Italian tech tree line. Abruzzi's from an era before they figured out what kind of identity the Italians would have. And, well, she's a nice handling ship, but that's all I can really say. Just get a better cruiser than her.
Yeah. Dunkirk, I'm not a fan of Dunkirk. Like, I don't like it, but I know the ship itself is okay for the tier. You just have to play further back, spam HE. If they get close, then use AP. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the ship, but I think the ship is okay. Like, you can still get it if you want to get it.
Yep, mid to long range battleship, the guns does surprisingly well. Like, those guns actually have very good pen, despite their lower caliber. So, and you can just stay bow in, so relatively easy to play. If you want training on how to play the Richelieu or the Jean Bart, then just take Dunkirk. don't bother with Strasbourg.
Yeah, so for the Fenyang, its HE pen is so low, you're essentially just trying to do damage with fire damage. Even on some destroyers of even the same tier, it's not going to pen it with HE. You have to legit load AP to do damage. The HE pen's so bad. So if you want to be an AP throwing destroyer, then it can do really good. And the deep water torps are okay as well. They're okay. They're not the worst.
Fenyang's all about using her AP. She got memed on for being a pretty bad destroyer, but I think most people underestimate her now. She got multiple buffs, especially to her AP. So if you want to play around with a unique destroyer and you want to surprise players like, wait, the Fenyang just destroyed me, what the heck happened? Then give her a shot.
Yeah, I don't remember it having improved ricochet angles, so they probably improved that over time because I don't think it had
No,
that before, or they'd always have that.
it had that. It's just that I think the reload was pretty bad. I know
Oh,
they
okay.
buffed it a couple ways, but I think it always had the AP angle, or maybe it didn't. It's been a while.
Okay. Flander, we recommend it for PvE if you want to play like a secondary brawling French battleship, but for PvP, no.
The problem with Flandre is that she has high HP, but her armor is still not great. Her guns also reload pretty slowly too, and she has much better secondaries to compensate, but her secondaries just don't have very good penetration and they don't have accuracy. So they essentially fire off a lot of fireworks and rarely do much damage. They're better off in co-op where you can reliably get PvE content where you can reliably get closer without blowing up.
Now, going from the Flander, what would you think of the Verdi? I think the Verdi secondaries can be okay in the meta it is. The Verdi itself is tanky, and having the unique gimmick of having sap secondaries can be nice. So I think overall it could be a fun ship for both PvE and PvE, like operations included with that sap secondaries. But you just have to know when to push. If you push too early with it, you're gonna die. If you're able to move in and use your smoke and back off with it, that'd be great too. You just have to know the time with the smoke. But overall, I think it could be worth it when it comes in.
It's a pretty memey battleship. It's meant to be a secondary focused one with sap, but you could also play it like a standard battleship. You just kind of defeat half the point of playing her in the first place. There are better candidates for secondary ships, but at least hers has a fairly funny smoke sap gimmick. So if you want something unique and don't mind it not being the best ship in the game, then go ahead and pick her up.
So for the Graf Zeppelin, the CV itself is okay, but its main gimmick is the secondaries. This thing's secondaries are some of the longest in the game and most accurate. So you can shoot out to about 14.4 kilometers or something like that with the secondaries. And now that you're able to build into like the concealment fully in the secondaries with its manual, if you want to just meme out on a CV and have a secondary build CV, then the Graf Zeppelin's probably one of your best options. It's pretty hilarious to do, especially if you're like farming out tier 8 battleships with the damn thing. It's pretty funny. But if you want to do a meme, sure. Otherwise, no.
Graf Zeppelin is a secondary ship that happened to launch planes as well, which is kind of funny to think about it. Really excels in PvE content, especially if you have someone to give you smoke, so you can just farm everything with secondaries and have planes, I guess, fly around and distract people or stuff. And randoms, her planes are not the greatest, but but her secondaries will catch out a lot of destroyer and cruiser players that try to ambush you. And if you have an ally to give smoke, she can do some really fun meme stuff. So if you want pure performance, just go take Kaga. If you want to just have a lot of fun and do some meme stuff with it, Graf Zeppelin's actually a pretty good choice.
Yep. So what about the Huang? Like if you're not interested in the Perth and you want say maybe you want to get the Perth, but you want a Pan Asia version, that's essentially what the Huang is. It's essentially a Pan Asia version of the Perth.
Both have crawling smoke, both have pretty solid guns. Practically, they just play the same. So just take a Pan Asia flavor or a Commonwealth flavor.
All right, so Hyuga is essentially a tier 7 Fuso with a reload booster. So it's more accurate, of course. So if you want to play a super Fuso per se, then the Hyuga's for you. If you don't, then no.
Yeah, that reload booster is pretty solid. I think you only get 3 charges, if I remember correctly. The guns are also smaller caliber, so it's very good. Like, if the enemy's broadside, it does really well. If they angle, then you're gonna start crying, especially since tier 7 battleships usually overmatch each other. But if you want to play something very similar to Fuso, yeah, Hyuga is the super Fuso version.
So London, I think London's pretty good. Good, nice smoke, nice heal. skill available now. The nice HE as well for the London. So overall, I think it's a pretty good tier 6. I definitely recommend it. It's good.
She can be uncomfortable to play just because of her short gun firing range. Also, be careful of her when using smoke because I think your your smoke firing penalty goes out to somewhere between 9 and 10. So destroyers, it's a relatively high smoke firing penalty. So be very careful in close quarters combat.
All right, so Marblehead. If you want to learn how to dodge with a high DPM ship, sure. It's a great trainer on teaching you how to farm, like doing long distance HE farming, as well as teaching you how to dodge because it's an Omaha. So if you want to learn how to dodge, it's like a high skill level ship. It can do really good if you're good, but it's bad, you're just gonna get death struck every match. So that's my take on it. If you want to learn how to just dodge, get Marblehead. If you don't, no.
To be honest, I'd rather buy the Mermats is stronger, but you can also buy the free Omaha if you want the same experience. Marblehead Lima is if you want the Lima on the side or the camera that comes with it.
Yep.
Heck, I'd even recommend the what was it, Metallica version of Marblehead. Yeah. But if you really want a Marblehead and you need it right now or on July 15th, then I guess this is an option.
All right, Solamaya. It's a It's a tier 8. It's a tier 7 version of the tier 7 of the Atago essentially. Like the ship is good, like, and it has a nice reload booster as well. So I think it does pretty well for a tier 7.
Meant to be more of a close range ship, it gets 8-kilometer fast torpedoes. The base gun reload is pretty bad though, so it really needs that main battery consumable to even have acceptable firepower. Of course you'll hate yourself in top tier matches, but if you fight like tier 6 to 8, I think she does fine.
So what about Munchkin then? Like I think the Munchkin, it has longer gun range than the Weimar does. I think ship overall is really good to play for a tier 7. I think it's better at being up tiered. So like it gets
really
up
hard
tier
to
9. It does good.
Really hard to recommend when the mines exist at tier 8 in her buffed form.
Yeah, that's also true. Mines with the heel is absurdly broken, so yeah, that's also that too. If you're interested in Munchkin, just get the mines then. Numencia, its whole gimmick is just like it's really stealthy. It's meant to like punish with AP, but the thing is that it's so hard to get those side shots that it's not really worth it. Like its whole gimmick is being really stealthy, but with how many submarines are around and with hybrids, you're just not gonna get it. So I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, very difficult ship to play. You essentially have to play around its stealth. I mean, it's great, but the stealth is really the only good thing it has. That and reload, and then you just funny button onto an enemy's broadside. But honestly, just pick a more standard cruisers. You'll usually get a lot of more results out of it.
Yeah, what about Orkan? Orkan's I think it's one of the only tier 8 destroyers to get a 7.5 kilometer radar. It does, the torpedoes aren't the best, the gun DPM is okay. It does get a heal though, but it's like a nice like cap controller for tier 8.
It's the balanced version of Smollett. The issue is its balance. It's very clunky. Its guns are actually not that great DPM. It just doesn't feel great to play, even though on paper it feels like it should. So if you want to kill destroyers, I just get the split instead, or just take the Cossack or Kid. They are much better as actual destroyers.
What about the Sirocco? Like, I think the Sirocco is okay for the tier. Like, it has a reload boost, which is nice, a nice engine boost, which makes it maneuverable for the tier. So overall, I think it's a good tier 5 destroyer for like practicing.
Honestly, I'm surprised the Sirocco is not the tier 5 tech tree. Instead, it's the Jaguar, which does not get a reload booster. That's besides the point. If you want a French destroyer at tier 5, I mean, it's fine, but it's also a tier 5. And it's not that strong where I can actively recommend it.
So what about the Texas? Good old Texas. I think the Texas is good.
Funny enough, I don't recommend Texas, mostly because there's sometimes you'll get free events that may give out Texas.
That's
also,
true.
But also seriously speaking, Texas has a lot of the same problems as New York. Pretty slow, the guns hit hard, but it's a tier 5 battleship, so they have some problems hitting, especially since you don't get the aiming system mod. She does have fun, amazing AA, which is a great meme, but she's not that fun to play in anymore. Not at tier 5. Just wait for them to eventually like drop Texas as a free ship, which occasionally happens.
Yep, good old Tiger 59. No, the utility with the smoke and the radar is nice, but if you like being able to smoke and radar and help control caps in that way, sure. But if you like not doing damage at all, then sure, yeah. If you don't want to do damage, sure, play it. But if you like doing damage, then no, because it has AP only, which is very painful. It only has 4
Ultimate
guns.
support cruiser.
Yeah, it's
Very
how a
difficult
support
to
cruiser is supposed to be. It's supposed to not do a lot of damage. It's meant to just be utility.
Yeah, but the problem is she's extremely hard to play as a utility cruiser. Your shells have elbing accuracy, but the shells doesn't have any improved ballistics. So you have to have really good aim to make proper use. And then smoke and radar is powerful, but you're limited by having only AP. So if destroyer sits bow in or is already stern out, then good luck doing any damage or doing any damage in general. If you want to test your skills, then 59 is probably the ultimate expression. But other than that, not really a great ship.
Okay. Vanguard is how it was when it came out IRL. Outdated. This thing is just garbage nowadays. So many other ships at the tier 8s that are just way better, so I don't recommend it.
Buying Vanguard will remind you every day of why Valpa is so much a better ship. Apparently, giving the South Americans a British battleship makes it overpowered.
Yeah, they just transferred the Vanguard to South America, and they just turned into one of the most broken ships in the game. What about Wichita? Wichita, I think, is pretty good with the heal now. It's got AP. It has good AP, good HE. So overall, I think it's really good. I think Wichita is good for tier 8. But what do you think?
Essentially a premium version of Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think Baltimore is a bit stronger, though. I need to double check, but I think Wichita has slightly weaker radar.
Well, if that, then just play Balti then. Unless you want a premium Baltimore, just for crew training and stuff, sure.
Wichita has 9-kilometer radar for some reason. Balti gets 10. Don't ask me how.
Is it because maybe Balti has better concealment then?
No.
Not Balti, sorry. Wichita.
It gets slightly better concealment, but Baltimore can stealth radar. Wichita can't, if I remember correctly.
Oh, then no. Never mind then. Heck no then. No, never mind then. No, I don't recommend it then. Just play Balti then. Okay, yeah, no. All right, final one. Z35. I don't remember this thing. I don't remember it.
It's basically, it's a German destroyer. You get, your guns will pen 32 millimeter of armor. You get British smokes, and you get a hydro. The problem is your torpedoes are only 6 kilometers. If you want a damage farm, it's an okay option. But if you actually want to do destroyer stuff, go play Cossack or Kid. If you want to do proper gunboat stuff, just take a Kiev or any of or a French gunboat.
All right, well, that's our list of recommended and not recommended. So you guys let me know what ships you're interested in. But yeah, that's it for that one.